Hey, Miss Fricker's classes. Where in the world is Pa Ewan again? We're at a very famous battlefield. We've talked about Manassas 1. We talked about Manassas 2. We talked about Gettysburg. Well, this one's called Antietam. Antietam occurred in August 17th of 1862. So it was after Manassas and it was before Gettysburg. Now this is a very famous battlefield here where we're at. This is where hundreds and hundreds were killed. But what's important about the Manassas battlefield was it was the first one. What's important about the Gettysburg is it was the turning point of the war. And what's important about this battlefield is it's the most casualties ever sustained by the United States in one day in the history of our country. There were 22,000 casualties here. Remember we talked about casualties being killed, wounded, or missing. There were 22,000 here in one day. Now that equates to every battle before the Civil War combined. So between the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, and the French and Indian Wars, there were fewer casualties there in all of those wars combined than the one day at Antietam. Now we also talked about Antietam and different battles, names associated by the Confederacy and by the Union. Well, it was called Antietam by the Union, and it was called Sharpsburg by the Confederacy, because we're in Sharpsburg, Maryland right now. Now at this battle, this is called Burnside Bridge, and this was here at the time just the way it is now. And up above you, what I've been showing you is some heights. Now on those heights there were 500 Confederate soldiers, and they held off over 3,200 Union soldiers for over 3 hours. Now the casualties on the Union side were very heavy, so out of the 3,200 that attacked this area here over the bridge, over 500 were killed. So that's a huge amount. This bridge was here, this tree was here as well, and you can see where the Union came from back here, and there's some plaques. And an interesting fact we talked about before were the drummer boys. Well, in this particular battle, there is a record of a young drummer boy. He was 13 years old, and he was killed during this battle. He actually got wounds, and remember we talked about casualties, being killed, wounded, or missing. Well, he was wounded, but 3 days after the battle, he died of his wounds. Now, this was important to the Union because before September 17th, Lincoln had already written the Emancipation Proclamation. And the Emancipation Proclamation, they didn't want to release it until they had a significant Union victory. And this is the one they used. So it was already ready to go. And what they were afraid of is if they released the Emancipation Proclamation prior to a major victory, then they thought that it would be kind of like a cowardice thing to do. So they waited, and 3 days after this victory, Lincoln released his Emancipation Proclamation, and it went into effect January 1st of 1863. So here we go, another day with Pa Ewan and Sharpsburg, Maryland, at the worst one-day casualty we've ever had. And on the field here, there's over 500 cannons. We're not in an area where that occurred. This was an infantry battle with no cannons. But again, this is Burnside Bridge. These are the heights the Confederates were on. Over 500 of them up there, and they kept the Union at bay. 3,200 or more Union soldiers couldn't get across this bridge in over 3 hours. They had to actually go around it. And there were 2 Medal of Honors awards that were issued here because of bravery. So we'll go over the bridge real quickly, and then we'll say goodbye to you guys. All right, guys, again, from Where in the World is Pa Ewan, we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.